What's up, everybody? You're now tuning into the In Love with Horror podcast. We are your hosts. I'm AJ.
And I'm Kristie. Join us for a love affair with all things horror as we explore the world of horror films, games, and everything in between.
All right, y'all. We got another great episode for y'all this week. Now, there wasn't as much, trailers and news as usual, but there's still, stuff to talk about. For trailers, we're going to be talking about The Meg 2. That trailer dropped. We'll be giving our thoughts on that. For news, we're going to be talking about Insidious: The Red Doors box office opening, a new anthology book, new horror anthology book that's coming out with a bunch of different Black writers in there, and edited by Jordan Peele. We're going to talk about the Emmy nominations that include all of the horror-related Emmy nominations for different TV series and movies. We'll talk about Cobweb getting their rating finally, and then we're going to talk about the latest Halloween Horror Nights house announcement. And at the end of all that, our main topic of discussion for this episode will be the scariest moments that we've ever seen in horror movies. We'll give our top three across the horror genre for the scariest moments. But before we do all that, of course, we're going to jump into what we watched this week. Make sure that you are following us on all of our social media channels. Make sure you follow us on wherever you listen to your podcast at, whether it's Spotify or Apple. And then leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Yes. Go ahead and leave us a review so we can get our numbers up. We appreciate it greatly. But with all that said, baby, what'd you watch this week?
So I watched two things this week. I watched Quicksand. We talked about this on the podcast when the trailer came out a few weeks ago. I forgot that came out. Yes, it's a Shudder original. I watched it through Amazon Prime with their AMC subscription. I did do a TikTok on this as well. So if you follow me on TikTok, you already seen it. If not, go follow me and go follow us. But yeah, it was decent. Okay. And I gave it 3 stars on Letterboxd. It's a survival thriller. It's about this couple who are on the brink of divorce. I feel like it's very cliche, right? Like they're about to break up, so they go to Colombia for some reason. Right. And they decide to go on a hike. And during the hike, they end up, I'm not going to give away too much, but they end up in quicksand. And kind of behind the scenes, they're kind of like stuck in this quicksand. And so the movie is about how the things that happen while they're in the quicksand and how they get out. And I know me and you talked about this. We were like, I don't know how interesting it would be, but we did want to know how they got out of the quicksand. Mm-hmm. So it's a very interesting way. So if you don't tune in for anything else, I guess you can tune in for that. But okay. Yeah, it's very mid. Nothing too special about it. I did like the husband's performance. I mentioned this also in my review on Letterboxd. Like, I think he did a really great job. The wife was okay, but I thought he did a really good job. If you don't have anything else to do this weekend, it's definitely something good to throw on, just for a good little thriller. Okay. I also went to an advanced screening of Talk to Me this past week. And I'm just going to tell y'all, this movie is dope. It's so good. I can't wait for us to talk about it on the podcast. It doesn't officially hit theaters until July 28th, but there's been a lot of screenings. I told you, but they have a link on Bloody Disgusting. If you guys are interested, go check it out and see if they have any more availability. But it's also on the A24 website itself too. Mm-hmm. You can sign up for an advanced screening, but it is so good. So if you're able to, go check it out. But if not, check it out when it hits theaters. I would watch this again when it does hit theaters on opening weekend, just so I can support it, because it was so good. And the creators, Michael and Danny, I got a chance to see like a Q&A of them during the screening as well. And just getting their insight on, why they created the movie and how it came to be and just the process and stuff like that. It made me want to support them even more. So I'll watch this again just to support them. And, it shows other creators out there, like, no matter how crazy your idea is, somebody's going to support it. So go make your movies. I'm gonna take it at 2. Hey, you go make you a movie.
I know, right? Let's go pick up the camera, go make one. Let's film on my phone, whatever. Let's go film something.
Yeah.
Now that's awesome though. Yeah, I'm glad that the movie is reviewing well. You liked it. It's reviewing really, really well on on Rotten Tomatoes. Look at the tomato meter, like it's doing crazy numbers.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I got my advanced screening coming up this Wednesday. Was it July 19th?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I can't wait to see it, especially after your review. I'm super hyped.
It's good.
But nice, babe. This week I watched one thing, and I watched Scream 5. So I hadn't, this came out within the last couple of years. Of course, Scream 6 has already come out. But I wasn't caught up on the most recent entry. So I went ahead and watched Scream 5. And it was okay. It's kind of what you expect. Like, if you like Scream, you're going to like Scream 5 because all the movies are roughly the same. The format's the same. It's just, it's always a continuation essentially on, somebody being connected to, what happened before. And so they found an interesting way to connect it back to, the original. And of course they bring back returning characters. We see where they are now. But it is Scream. And, of course they have the meta jokes within there about current horror movies and people liking, smart horror movies now. They name drop the Babadook and things like that. And so you have a lot of that in there, and it still maintains a lot of the cheesiness, a lot of the cheesy, the purposefully cheesy acting. I think Scream is okay. I'm not a huge fan of the series. I think they're okay movies. They're not my kind of slasher because they get a little too cheesy, and the meta-ness isn't, I don't know, it's trying to be, really clever. And sometimes it just comes off as goofy in a way. But yeah, so I just thought it was okay. I mean, like I said, if you've never seen it and you like Scream, you'll probably like this. I'm gonna watch Scream 6 next just to catch up on the whole series. But that's what I watched this week. And I just thought it was, it was all right. All right. So with that down, y'all, let's move on to the trailers that dropped this week. And there wasn't really any except for one. And we can kind of quasi fit this into the horror, to the horror genre. And that was the Meg 2 trailer drop. I think the subtitle for this is The Trench, right?
Mm-hmm. The Trench.
The Meg 2, The Trench. Now it's coming to theaters on August 4th. And let me read y'all the synopsis that they have for this movie. In theaters August 4th, dive into uncharted waters with Jason Statham and global action icon Wu Jing as they lead a daring research team on an exploratory dive into the deepest depths of the ocean. Their voyage spirals into chaos when a malevolent mining operation threatens their mission and forces them into a high-stakes battle for survival, pitted against colossal Megs. Megs, plural, colossal Megs. It's about to get real, y'all. Have a bunch of Megs out there. And relentless environmental plunderers. Our heroes must outrun, outsmart, and outswim the merciless predators in a pulse-pounding race against time. And if you've seen the trailer, you see they mentioned a nemesis or a rival to the Meg, and that's like a giant squid type of thing. I guess I'm assuming this squid came out of the trench. Maybe it's been unleashed, kind of like in a Godzilla sort of way. They crack something open, and now it's out in the open. This movie looks it honestly looks fun. I liked the first Meg. I thought it was goofy but in a fun way, and this movie looks to compound upon that. I think you mentioned, Bae, that this movie will have even more comedic elements. And to me, this movie is in line with the Sharknado type movies, but they're not as stupid. They're dumb, but it's almost like a tasteful dumb. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I do prefer the at least these movies to the Sharknadoes and stuff like that. But I thought it looks cool. I'm definitely gonna check it out. What do you think about the trailer, Bae?
Yeah, like you said, it does look fun. I agree with you. I like the last one as well. Mm-hmm. And I did, like you said, I did read what they said that there's gonna be a lot more comedy in this one than the first one. Jason Statham, he's a badass. So
Jason Statham
against the Meg, it's kind of crazy.
It's so goofy, but it's dope.
Yeah, and I mean, I like shark movies. I don't know why, but everyone does actually. Like, it's a very popular thing.
We've gotten some good shark movies.
Yeah. Some really good shark movies. So for that alone, I mean, I think it's gonna be a good time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's the Meg 2, y'all. Check out that trailer coming to theaters August 4th. So not too far, right around the corner. So that's all we got for trailers this week. Again, light on trailers for horror movies, but that's okay because it's still a great year and there's still a lot coming. So now we'll move on to the news section of our podcast where we talk about the news that dropped this week, all related to horror. And we'll start off the top with the box office from the Insidious: The Red Door opening. So Insidious: The Red Door opened to $32.7 million.
Insane.
Big numbers.
Yes.
And I'm pulling up the article now because I wanted to double check. Do you know off the top of your head, babe, if this was it the biggest or second biggest opening?
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay, yeah, it's the second best opening of the series. Looks like Insidious Chapter 2 had the highest, but the Red Door with 32.7 million is the second biggest for the series. So, I mean, that's great numbers. That's a W in my book. Again,
definitely.
Yeah, I'm sure y'all have seen our review at this point. Not a big fan of the movie, but baby, you liked it. But I'm still excited. I'm always happy that even if I don't like a horror movie, I'm glad that they're doing numbers. People are going out there and watching these movies, letting studios know that we want
more horror.
Mm-hmm. That's right. But when you read this news, what do you think, babe?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I'm glad that they did a really big opening because that does show them that we actually want more horror movies. I was actually surprised that it did so much.
Me too.
But I guess I shouldn't have been, but because of it's such a big franchise and it's also been so long since there's been another Insidious movie. It's such a big gap in time. And you got that group, that generation of people who, really like the Insidious movies. So I guess I should have known it would do good, but I didn't know it was going to be 32.7 million good.
Yeah.
So that's really good though.
Yeah. And we'll see how it does with the second weekend, see how much drop off it has, see if it holds, see if the word of mouth is, trending positively for this movie or not.
Yeah.
All right, y'all, moving on to our next story. Now, this is a really cool story here, but it was announced this week from Monkey Paw Productions, which is Jordan Peele's production studio, that they are coming out with their first ever horror anthology book titled Out There Screaming. And this is a horror anthology book. They call it an anthology of new Black horror because the book features stories all from Black authors. So super fire, coming out on October 3rd. And it says it's going to explore the world of horror, sci-fi, folklore, and more through short stories crafted by Black authors. Now, I personally am not familiar with a lot of the authors that are, going to be featured in this book. I'll definitely go ahead and read off some of them for people listening who might be familiar. But it says that it'll feature stories by Aaron E. Adams, Violet Allen, Leslie Nika Arima, sorry, I probably butchered that. Maurice Broaddus, Chesia Burke, P. Jelly Clark, Ezra Clayton Daniels, sorry, y'all. Tananarive Due, I'm sorry, I probably butchered that. Nalo Hopkinson, N.K. Jameson, Justin C. Key, L.D. Lewis, Nettie, what is that? Okorafor, Tochi Onyebuchi, Rebecca Roanhorse, Nicole D. Sconiers? I'm sorry, I'm tearing these names up. Ryan Amilcar Scott, Terrence Taylor, and Cadwell Turnbull. So those are some of the Black authors that will be featured in this book. And this is exciting. I'm not a big reader, but baby, I know you are.
I am.
So what did you think we heard this news? I know you were super hyped.
I am, yeah. An anthology with all Black authors, stamped with approval from Jordan Peele. I mean, come on,
Jordan Peele, yo,
that's crazy.
Now I will say, it does say edited by Jordan Peele. I don't fully know what that means. Like it being just edited. Does that just mean like he picked these stories and felt they were of caliber to feature in this book? Like it's like with movies, right? When they say produced by X, and they didn't really do a whole lot, but What do you
feel
think it
like
means,
it's
babe, when it
more
says it's
so
edited?
like he put these stories together. Like he wrote the stories, but he, edited them and said, okay, let's put these together in this anthology. I mean, he could have had like 100 people submit stories, but he picked these ones to go in there and put them together. That's how I feel about, or how I think that means, what that I think that means. But yeah, I think that's super dope. Hopefully people go out and get it, so there's more made after this one. You know what I'm saying? Like, some other books after this, and like a series of anthologies all about Black authors. I mean, that'll be super cool, and then I can submit mine next time around.
Yeah, hey, come on now, baby. Yep, definitely got to submit your short story. But now I agree, it's exciting, especially being all from Black authors. And I was reading their webpage for the book, and it says that that Jordan Peele curates this groundbreaking anthology. So I guess that kind of speaks to what you're saying, like him handpicking these stories that kind of fit together. And it also says, he curates this groundbreaking anthology of all new stories of Black horror, exploring not only the terrors of the supernatural, but the chilling reality of injustice that haunts our nation. So it looks like we're going to get a nice mixture of, the more social commentary, real life horror, as well as the just supernatural, maybe ghost, paranormal type of horror as well.
Right.
And on the same website, it does have a couple of brief ideas of what some of the stories are about. A couple of them read. Let me just read you this section here on the website. It says regarding some of the stories that are Out There Screaming. It says, a cop begins seeing huge blinking eyes where the headlights of cars should be that tell them who to pull over. Two freedom riders take a bus ride that leaves them stranded on a lonely road in Alabama where several unsettling somethings await them. A young girl dives into the depths of the earth in search of the demon that killed her parents. These are just a few of the worlds of Out There Screaming, Jordan Peele's anthology of all new horror stories by Black writers. Featuring an introduction by Peele and an all-star roster of beloved writers and new voices, Out There Screaming is a masterclass in horror, and like his spine-chilling films, his stories prey on everything we think we know about our world and redefine what it means to be afraid.
That sounds so good.
So yeah, some of these stories, but that one that says a young girl dies into the depths of the earth in search of the demon that killed her parents, that sounds fire. I want to read that one. Yeah, so when you get this book, let me read that one.
Okay.
Some other quick notes here about the book. They don't have pricing for the... Well, let me check. Let me go on Amazon real quick, see if they have the pricing. So it looks like going off of the Amazon pricing here, the Kindle version will be $13.99. The audiobook version will be $27.56. And the hardcover will be $25.20.
Okay.
Now, mind you, it looks like these are all pre-order pricing.
Okay.
So definitely might be worth, pre-ordering just to save yourself some money if you're excited about this.
Definitely.
But again, that's called Out There Screaming, coming on October 3rd. All right, moving on to our next story, y'all. So this is all about the Emmy nominations. So we're going to be talking about all of the horror-related Emmy nominations. And we'll go down the list. Let me get it pulled up here. All right. So here's some highlights for the Emmy nominations of 2023. Starting off, we got Outstanding Drama Series, and two horror-related shows were in this category. They got nominations, and that is The Last of Us from HBO and Yellow Jackets from Showtime. I think we both enjoyed Last of Us, babe, but I think neither one of us have watched Yellow Jackets yet.
No.
That's on our list, y'all, to watch.
Yeah.
And we were just on, Evil Live, Tyrone's podcast over on YouTube, and he mentioned to us that, the show was dope. So it's on our list, y'all.
We're going to check it out for sure.
We will check it out. The next category we got is Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series. And on this list, we got Pedro Pascal getting a nomination for his role in The Last of Us, of course, playing Joel. Next category we have is Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series. And of those nominees, we've got for horror, we got Melanie Linsky from Yellow Jackets and Bella Ramsey from The Last of Us. Next category, we've got Outstanding Comedy Series. And of horror relation, we got Wednesday from Netflix. Next category is Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy Series. And we got Jenna Ortega for her role as Wednesday in Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Outstanding Limited or Anthology Series. We got Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story from Netflix. Outstanding Lead Actor in a Limited Series or a Movie. And we've got Evan Peters for his role in Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story on Netflix.
He killed that role.
Yeah, the show is hard to watch, but you can't deny that dude, his performance was insane.
Yeah. I mean, he's a great actor, but I feel like this is the best I ever seen him in something. Yeah, absolutely.
And he plays like the most craziest roles.
He does. He really does.
I'm sure it's got to take a toll on him mentally, but he need to take a break and do something real like sweet. I don't know, do a rom-com or something. I don't know. Like he just do some crazy stuff. I can
see him doing a rom-com
from American Horror Story to whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, he killed that role.
Yeah, definitely.
Next, we got Outstanding Lead Actress in a Limited Series or Movie, and we've got Dominique Fishback for Swarm. That's fire right there. I did not know.
Yeah, I'm glad she got that nomination because she did a really good job in that series.
She did a fantastic job.
Proud of her.
Yeah, she killed it in that series. I'd love to see her win that, but we'll see. Next category is Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Limited Series or a Movie. We got Richard Jenkins in Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. Is that the guy who plays dad?
Yes, it is.
Okay, yep. Mm-hmm. Okay.
He did a good job too.
Yeah, he did so good as playing his dad in that show.
Yeah.
Next we got Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Limited Series or a Movie. And we got Niecy Nash for Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. I'd love for her to win it because she killed it too.
She definitely deserves
it. She acted. She killed it.
Yeah.
She acted her tail off in that show, man.
Now, the article you're reading doesn't have Kevon Woodard, so I added him on the thing, but he was nominated for Outstanding Guest Actor in Drama Series for Last of Us. He was the little boy.
Oh, nice. That's dope.
The deaf boy, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, man. And that's in which category?
Outstanding Guest Actor in a drama series.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he killed it. That performance is amazing. And I like the behind the scenes of that episode when you see like all the other actors like learning to sign to talk to him.
Yeah.
And, really like welcoming him. And it was just real heartwarming to see, honestly. Like that was dope. And the last category we got here is Outstanding TV Movie. And 2 horror related ones on there are Prey from Hulu and Hocus Pocus 2 from Disney Plus.
Yes.
And Prey was so dope. That definitely like
hope they win. I think they had good performances. They had good special effects. As a matter of fact, when we watched the Fangoria Awards, I think they won for that, like their special effects and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, you're right. I think they did.
Best makeup and some other stuff, but that was a really good movie. Yeah,
it really was. For me, it brought like Predator back on the map because we had a lot of rough goings for different movies, but like this brought it back. I was like, oh yeah, Predator's back, y'all. Like they killed it with this. All right, y'all. That's the Emmy nominations for all things related to horror. Really excited for that. When is it coming on? When is it airing? The 75th Annual Emmy Awards airs on September 18th at 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox. So we got a little time for that. We get excited for that, y'all. Let us know in the comments who you think will win in some of these categories. All right, moving on to the next piece of news. We got news about the rating for the movie Cobweb. So that's that really creepy, interesting looking movie that showcases like the son and his parents, and something's weird's going on with the parents, and it's kind of hard to really tell what's going on. Yeah, but the trailers look really good. We've talked about.
Kind of reminds me of what was that animated movie with the little girl?
Which one?
her mom had like the button eyes.
Oh, Coraline.
Coraline, yeah, because something was weird going on with her, her parents, so it kind of reminds me of that a little bit.
Yep. And we're reading this article off of Bloody Disgusting, and the clip, the image they have from the movie looks super creepy with the mom. But Cobweb finally got its rating, and it's officially been rated R for horror violence in some language. And that's awesome because we don't really get a lot of R-rated horror movies these days. Because typically studios like to keep it PG-13 to try to make as much money as they can. We saw that just now with Insidious the Red Door. Granted, I think all of the Insidious films were PG-13, so it wasn't no surprise, but just typically horror movies have been rated PG-13. So it's cool that this is rated R, and it does make me wonder, like, horror violence, like how violent we get.
Right.
Yeah. It doesn't say graphic imagery or anything, but I do wonder what that means. I'm sure we'll see some crazy stuff. We got Anthony Starr in there, Homelander from The Boys. But yeah, I think seeing this rating just makes me more excited to see the movie. You have any additional thoughts on this, Beth?
No, I'm right there in agreement with what you said. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely, y'all. If you haven't seen the trailer for Cobweb, make sure you look that up. Check out the trailer because it's coming to theaters next week, July 21st. Exciting.
And that is pretty sure that's a limited release. 99.9% sure that it limited is. Yeah.
So you might have to do some searching, y'all. You might even have to make a little trek to go see it, but hopefully it'll be worth it. All right, moving on to our last news story from this week. This is all about Halloween Horror Nights, y'all. We just got another official house announcement, and that is for Stranger Things. So Stranger Things is coming back to Halloween Horror Nights. And what's dope is this time it'll be focused on season 4. So we're actually going to come face to face with Vecna at this Halloween Horror Nights. And they did put out a promo video like they usually do for the big houses, so you can go check that out on YouTube. It's cool because it features like the same vibe that we saw in season 4 with them kind of transitioning into the Upside Down and seeing the clock and hearing the noise and hearing Vecna's voice. I think it's going to be like super creepy. Knowing they're going to come face to face with Vecna in this house is going to be, I think, very terrifying. And they also mentioned that you'll see other creatures as well, such as like the Dimabats that we saw in the Upside Down. But again, it'll all be focused on season 4, which I think is a smart thing because season 4 was massive. I think it became like the most watched thing ever, I think, on Netflix. And if it wasn't, it was damn near close to being, the biggest like premiering of a Netflix show. But yeah, I'm super excited for this, babe. What you think about hearing this news?
Oh yeah, well I was hyped about it. I've been having my notifications on set for Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually didn't watch season 4 of Stranger Things, so
nope.
Okay.
Hey, I kept trying to tell you. I kept trying to tell her.
I'm behind a little bit.
This is fire.
I'm a little bit behind. But it's good that they brought them back. I know it was super popular last year, so I'm sure it's going to be just as popular this year as well. And hopefully we'll get some more house announcements, a little bit sooner. Because I feel like between this one and the last one, it wasn't that much time. So I'm sure we'll get some more announcements here following up. Because the Halloween Horror Nights starts in September, like September 1st and 7th. Depending on which park. So we don't have that long. So
not long at all, y'all.
Yeah.
And just to give you some additional info, I'll read what they wrote about the Stranger Things haunted house this year. It says the Stranger Things haunted house mirrors the mind-bending twists and supernatural terror of season 4, immersing guests in a heart-pounding experience alongside valiant characters from the series, including Eleven, Max, Eddie, and more. Guests will find themselves on the front line of Vecna's deadly attacks on the citizens of Hawkins while traveling through iconic scenes, including the notorious Hawkins Lab, the enigmatic Creel House, and Vecna's chilling mindscape. Along the way, guests will confront their deepest fears and come face to face with otherworldly creatures like Dimabats and even Vecna himself. In a race against the clock, guests find themselves in the ultimate showdown with Vecna's blood-red mind layer, striving to escape and save mankind from his deadly curse. And that, y'all, is the Stranger Things house for this year. It's going to be dope, I think. Very excited, y'all. But with that wraps up our news portion for the podcast. Let us know in the comments how excited you are about the announcement of the Stranger Things house at the Halloween Horror Nights, and let us know what you think will come next. What's the next house announcement for Halloween Horror Nights? All right, so we'll move on to our main topic today, y'all. This is a great topic. We're going to be talking about what we believe is some of the most scariest movie moments in all of horror cinema. And what we'll do is give our top three. And there's a million different great horror scary movie scenes, and I'm sure it'll fluctuate depending on the day of what's your top three. So don't be too hard on us if you're like, you got that in your top three. You know what I mean? Like, we're just kind of doing what came to our mind first. And typically it's going to come from whatever your favorite horror movies are.
Exactly.
Yep. So with that, I'll let you start off first, Bae. What we go one at a time, or just want to run through all three?
I can do my three, and you can do your three.
All right, perfect. Well, you start us off.
All right. So, my choices aren't in order, so I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, mine aren't in any particular order either.
Right. Okay. So the first one I have on my list is from the movie The Descent. So, the scene when you first see the creatures is what I believe is one of the scariest movie moments. First of all, this movie takes place underground in this cave, and you got this group of women who are, to me, I was like, how would I feel as a woman being down in this daggone cave? It's super claustrophobic. It's dark. And you don't know what is down there for the first, 3/4 of the movie. So something is down there, but you don't know what it is. And then all of a sudden you see these creepy ass creature things in the background. And it does scare you. It's it's not even like a jump scare. It's just like a creepy, in your face, skin crawling type of thing. But yeah, that's definitely on the list as one of the scariest moments.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that joke was crazy.
For sure. I watched that movie quite a few times, actually. Like, I think I had it on DVD back then, too.
Yeah.
And that was a good one.
Yeah, it is. It is a good movie. I agree.
The second one I have on my list is from The Conjuring, which is actually one of my favorite movies of horror movies of all time. Anyway, such a good movie. It's done so well. The acting is top tier, super scary movie.
Yeah, I would consider The Conjuring to be kind of like one of the best, almost like the perfect horror movie. It's got the perfect formula, everything about it. It's a masterpiece. Yeah, it's up there.
I agree with that. But yeah, the scene that I put was the hand clap scene when the mom is, with the match and she's down and on the basement stairs, and because before they were playing that hand clap game with her kids, but she's down there and it does it. It's so creepy. Ooh,
yeah, you're playing the hide and seek hand clap. Yeah, right there, boom, and the light went out.
Yeah, super scary, y'all. Super scary. And, that was one of those movies, we were talking about music earlier when we were talking to Tyrone, but that's one of those movies that does the music really well in that movie too. So your senses are already heightened. So when you get to that part, it just like tips you over and it's just like, ooh. So I think they did a really good job with that one. Now the third one is from the movie The Strangers. And The Strangers is scary because it can really happen to you.
It's very real. Yep. That was the horror of that movie. It was very real.
Super real. And that's why it's so scary. And so when you're watching that movie, you think you're safe, you're thinking about it if that was me, but you think you're safe because you're in the house and they're outside. But when you realize that the people done got in the daggone house and you don't know how, dude, the particular scene I'm talking about is when you first see the dude in the background and she's in the kitchen.
Oh, he just standing there, right?
And he just standing there, right?
Yep.
Exactly. And you're like, how how did this dude get in there?
Yep.
Like, you didn't hear anything. And she thinking they still outside because the other people were still out there.
Yep.
But that joint was super scary.
Yeah. And I think what was also really scary about that movie is, like, you know, it's just a random thing that happened. There was no connection or like that.
No
Remember, she was like, "Oh, you know, why are you doing this to us?" And he's like, "Because you were home."
Because you
I
was
was
at
like,
the
"What
house.
the heck?" Yep,
Like,
just randomly chosen, like you. Yep.
And you know, I don't like movies that don't have a happy ending, and that one did not have one.
Yep.
Like, it was just terrible.
Yeah.
But that's a super scary movie.
Yeah, that is a scary one.
It almost make you want to have like your windows boarded up and everything, and not even want to go nowhere because something like that could actually happen.
Yep,
it's insane.
The Strangers. Yep, that's a good one. That's a good one, man. That's a good top 3, or you know, a good 3. Yeah, I agree with all those. All right, so my 3 scariest movie moments. Of course, again, no particular order in this, y'all. But the first one is the first Insidious, the red demon face, the lipstick demon at the table. You know, because Insidious up to that point is already building like a lot of horror and terror. You know, it's already very suspenseful, right? You're on edge about, you know, what's going on, like what's happening to Dalton and so on. And then you think that you're in a moment of like a calm breathing moment of levity, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The mom's just talking and then looks over, you know, in shock, and then boom, like the face is sitting right behind him. And I don't know, something about the way it looks, the framing, the positioning, the sounds, the mom's reaction, like everything combined just created this like jump scare that was just, to me, like one of the most, notorious jump scares, man. Like, it was so well crafted and it was so effective. And like, I've never forgotten it to this day. Yeah. Never forgotten it.
Yeah. Insidious in general has some really good scenes that I still haven't forgotten. Like, you brought up that one when we were talking about with the thing in the corner and he had the hand out.
He's stretching out to him.
That's super creepy image.
Yep.
And then, you know, obviously for me, it was the one with the man doing the wave.
From chapter 3, I think.
From chapter 3, yeah.
Yep.
Those some creepy moments.
They got some creepy stuff in those movies. That's for sure. Yep.
I also thought the MRI scene from this last Insidious was pretty creepy.
Yeah, that was good. That was one of the more effective scare sequences in the new movie. I agree. That part was very creepy, like on the edge of your seat type thing. Right. Because you kept waiting for what's going to happen. Yeah. And they kept you like on edge for a long time, which I like how Patrick Wilson handled that. Handled that sequence. All right, y'all. My next one is from Sinister, and it is the lawnmower film. I believe it's called like Lawn 86 or something like that is the name on the tape of the in the movie. And this was just like super terrifying because I don't remember. I can't fully remember at this point like how many other tapes you viewed within the movie, but this one, it was like had that like very subtle like undertone music. And, you know, it always starts off with it showing the family, like just doing family shit just in the living room. And then it cut to, you know, them grabbing the lawnmower. And it was just this one shot that was focused down on the lawnmower with a single point of light. And then it had that unnerving, you know, sound. And then, like, you know, the lawnmower starts moving. And, like, you see, you know, it kind of built up, right? Like it built up, like, cause you didn't know what to expect. You get this one single camera angle. You have no idea what to expect. And the lawnmower's just going, it's just moving. And then boom, like you see a family member like in the path and lawnmower. And of course they kind of do a cheap, like, you know, cheap jump scare scream type thing, but I don't care. Cause up to that point, the whole thing of it was executed really well. And then, you know, Ethan Hawke's character like jumps up and he's like trying to turn it off. You know what I'm saying? Like his performance in that movie was great, but that whole sequence was just terrifying. And that audio just enhances the scariness. But that's my second.
I can't deal with Sinister. That's just a super creepy.
It is. It's very creepy.
Like both, they're super creepy. And I mentioned this the last time we brought it up. Like, when you got kids involved, I don't play. Like, I don't really like it that much, but super creepy. I don't like that movie.
Yeah,
I also didn't like Bagul.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in a while. I need to rewatch it again. It's been
go ahead and help yourself. I think they got Sinister on something. What is it on now? It's streaming on something. I don't know what it is.
Okay. But I have to look it up to see where it's streaming. And the last one I got is a scene that I love, baby, and that's I'm a big fan of the movie Signs, M. Night Shyamalan's Signs. I love that movie to death. I love the music, I love the performances, I like the slow burn of the movie. And the scene I'm referring to is when I believe it's the brother's name was Meryl, when Joaquin Phoenix's character first sees the alien on that news news segment on the TV. He's just sitting in that closet. Because they hid the TV in the closet, and he's sitting there watching it, and the news report comes on, and they build it up right, like we got this clip that came in. We're just gonna warn you, it's disturbing footage. You're like, okay, because up to this point you've never seen the alien at all,
right?
And so he's he gets like super close to the TV. He's really like drawn into it, and the camera's at some birthday party. It's a bunch of kids. And they're all at the window, and he's like, "Move, children, vámonos!" You know what I'm saying? Like, talk to the TV. And then, like, the camera focuses on, and it also helps that the footage is kind of grainy, so it kind of like enhances this like feel. It feels very real. And then finally, the alien like walks across, and then like Joaquin Phoenix like reaction to it. He's just like, "Oh, like he didn't know what to do. He was just freaking out." Man, like just to build up to that, like I was already very like. I already had like very uneasy feelings because of the slow burn nature of the movie, and you know, like just things happening here and there. You don't really know what's going on. Is it really aliens? Like, and then when you finally see it, like it's just terrifying, man. Like, and I like the build up to that, and that was super effective to me. We mentioned on Evil Live on Tyrone's podcast earlier today. We're talking about horror movies that we wish we could watch again for that first time. And I feel like Signs is one, especially that scene specifically. I wish I could watch it again for the first time, because you're just so shocked, like, oh shit, like
not only that scene, but just how everything came together. Yeah. Like with the water that the little girl was leaving around, like all those little pieces that, we know now because we understand, because we watch it 100 times. Yep. But to be able to re-experience that, you're like, oh, wow. Oh yeah. That's, like that was really cool.
Yeah. The movie had like very, good messaging. Like I like the writing in the movie. Like to me, it's just a great movie. I love Signs. Yeah. But yeah, it's my top 3, y'all. Let us know in the comments like what you think the scariest movies or the scariest moments in horror movies is. Whether it could be jump scares or just like a sequence. Let us know in the comments. We'd love to discuss with y'all what your scariest moments in horror movies are. And with that, y'all, that'll conclude today's episode of the In Love with Horror podcast. Thank y'all so much for joining us on the whole thing. If you made it this far, make sure you are following us on all social channels: YouTube, TikTok, IG, Twitter. Subscribe to it all, y'all. Make sure that you are following us, following our podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and leave us a review, y'all. Help us get our numbers up. Leave us a really good review on either of those platforms. We'd greatly appreciate it. And go over to our website as well, inlovewithhorror.com. Check out our merch. You see that Kristie's wearing one of the hats right now and the shirt. Got the black Chucky up there saying "want to play." Yeah. Check out the hat too with the embroidered skeleton heart logo. Come on, y'all. It's just a great way to support us and support the podcast. But again, we appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to this episode of the In Love with Horror podcast, and we see y'all on the next one. Peace.